I would like to preface this with an apology. I have a cold. So this video is going to be something I haven't done before, which tends to be a lot of what I do here. I get bored really easily. So this is going to be a redraw of some characters I made when I was, I'm going to say 14, maybe? I was a small child. I was on Scratch. I didn't even get to DeviantArt at that point in time, which that was just a whole other hellhole. But anyway, so this is Di. In his original story, he and his brother, they grew up together and they had the typical rivalry. Di was considered the quote ugly evil one by everyone around him because of his looks, and Opus was the pure little angel. Growing up, Opus would often lead them into trouble with his curious nature, only for Di to be blamed for setting his brother astray. Typically, he became bitter because of this, and one day they met a girl. Ooh. They both vied for her attention with gifts and sweet moments alone, but her interests lay with Opus, not his quote ugly demon brother. Di became resentful and attacked Opus for quote taking the woman of his dreams, but of course, Opus being the better guy slashed his brother's face. Hurt, betrayed, and alone, Di ran off and never saw his brother again. Now, this all seems like pretty typical 14-year-old drama, angst, blood, etc. So I decided to spruce things up a little in the newer version. Di was a good kid. He never deserved the ending he got, and so this is his sort of 2.0. When Di was born, he was protected a lot more than his litter mates. His parents were afraid of what people would think if they saw their slightly unusual looking son. Very normal looking cat. As children do, however, Opus managed to convince his brother to follow and led him much further from their home than Di had ever been, eventually wandering into the path of oncoming traffic. Due to his lack of sort of experience with that kind of thing, he didn't move, he just stayed put. While he survived the accident, this left him with a crooked jaw and very little recollection of who he was and where his home was. Opus, seeing the incident happen, ran home to get his parents, but by the time they arrived, Di was already taken into veterinarian care. While people were generally confused by the horned cat, it was eventually concluded that he simply had a mutation, resulting in the protrusions from his skull. And the finer fur on his tail was caused by very odd mixed breeding. When put up for adoption, he was eventually taken in by an elderly lady and allowed to spend his life resting, pampered, and internet famous due to her grandchildren. I think this is a much better ending for him. Moving on to Opus, this man was a right angel when I created him. Though I can't find many of my original drawings of him, he was a grey cat with a bright red fringe in front. Eye colours seem to change in every image I have. While he was the good guy in the original, I played him to be just kind of a stubborn kid. He never meant to lead his sibling into danger, he just wanted to explore and felt sorry for Di having to stay home alone constantly. While his brother was kept in the den, Opus was able to experience the wilderness and everything beyond it through highly curious eyes. This is where he gets his sense of boldness from. He's been able to have a look at so many different things. While the incident with Di terrified him from venturing far for quite a long time after it happened, he eventually convinced himself to go a little further every day. For this design, I wanted to keep a vague semblance of a grey and red palette, as I did with Di, but simply toned it down into something a little more natural. In the newer version, he is quite bold, stubborn, quick change kind of character, whose opinion is not easily swayed, aside from by one cat, but we'll get into her later. last but not least on this list is Echo. In the story, she was never super developed, which is kind of sad because it could have used a good female character. When she was gifted to me in 2014 by a user named SpikeTheCat on DeviantArt, her personality sheet reads shy, nervous, emo with a dirty mind. I wanted to stick to that a little, but give her a more driving personality. Ironically, in my new version, she and Di would likely never meet. In 2.0, Echo meets Opus a few months after the incident. A headstrong she-cat, Echo was the one who pulled him out of his cautiousness he had lapsed into following the incident with his brother. She's incredibly bold, almost to the point where she doesn't need consequences, and the pair of them spend a lot of time adventuring as far as they can go and watching each other's backs. I find it really funny how the story ended up considering the original intense love story rivalry, but I like it. The final designs look pretty neat too, and I'll be happy to make something like this again. Let me know in the comments if you want more of this, and if you like the designs, and, as a surprise, enjoy this old AMV from like 2015 that I made of them, with the music removed because it is under like a massive copyright, and I do not want to have to deal with that.